Good afternoon, it's Caroline Stevens seeking the truth. I had problems with the first transmission, so I'm having a second go. Chatham House Zoom meeting, 7th of May 2020. It was run by Common Purpose UK. The chief executive is a lady called Marie Mohan, and she was present. CP, Common Purpose, is a registered charity, and as such it receives charitable status at the expense of the taxpayer, and they hold meetings behind closed doors and do not disclose the agenda. But the agenda is now wide open for inspection. The guest speakers at this particular meeting were the Global Deputy Chief Executive of Deloitte UK, David Spool, Dr. Sharon Hopkins, Director of Public Health at Cardiff and Vale University Health Board. She attended the famous Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. Simon Gibson, 5G expert, the chair of the 5G Advisory Panel of Wales. Ellery Rees, the Court Recorder of South Wales. Stuart Parfitt, Chief Superintendent of South Wales Police, and Rodri Talfan Davis, Director of BBC Wales. Notes from part 1 from earlier this week. We learnt in part 1 that Gibson of 5G couldn't find any details of his 5G expertise, but he is called the 5G expert at the meeting. So, as part of the meeting that I relayed earlier on in the week, there was a topic, 5G. The words read as follows: implementing a UK-wide social credit system has been a pipe dream for many years, but it is now set to become true, thanks to the proposed RFID chip vaccine, which will bypass Big Brother Watch type organisations, and we will instantly know more about the public and the risks which they might pose upon us. The ultimate aim is to make the UK a safe digital sphere where being open and transparent is the new normal, and that people cannot hide under false names and anonymous online tags. We are already partnering with Google in order to remove accounts of people on social media who we deem as threats to us and the Scenario Project, especially those related to putting out 5G misinformation, which 5G is keen to see face the full wrath of the courts. Deloitte UK stated that their cyber tools can already remotely shut down the computers of offenders using ISPs, and they can crack through VPNs and render the computer as useless for anything from a few hours to days and weeks. Basically, we decide when, if ever, they get back online. Deloitte UK have invested billions into the Global Cyber Connected Scheme, or GCS for short, and they have partnered with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and received £2.5 billion in initial funding, which will see parts of GCHQ now given over to GCS, the Global Cyber Connected Scheme. So the GCS operations will be in England and Wales. Scotland will see a similar scheme launched in the autumn of 2020 with the Mawson Group. That's Mawson Cybersecurity, and they've been awarded the contract. Mawsons do exist. According to the internet, they are a leading UK engineering recruitment company and an experienced provider of jobs in cybersecurity. Now, Mr. Gibson of 5G stated that contrary to what a small number of idiots wanted, 5G would be rolled out in fullness by the end of this year, and that he was angered and disgusted by the reports of 5G towers being set alight deliberately, and that whilst the media had tried hard to enforce the belief that there is nothing shady with the new technology, it had been more difficult than they had envisaged to convince people that there is nothing untoward about its rollout, adding that the most recent story of Piers Corbyn's ill-informed protest in Glastonbury had not helped, and the media should not have mentioned it. How dare they? The BBC interjected that this was a delicate issue because not reporting the story would have played into the hands of conspiracy theorists anyway. The legal lady, Miss Rees, also interjected, and that any militia-type activity by organised gangs would be treated as being tantamount to terrorism, no less. And she would obviously be the first person to tackle this, it sounds to us. 5G has to be rolled out as a total of the amount invested in this project is £1.44 billion. And investors such as Lord Anthony Tudor St John of Bletsoe, he sits as a hereditary peer in the House of Lords, expects a significant return on their investment. And should people like Mr Gibson of 5G fail, and should the rollout be a disaster or even late, then investors will still demand the payments expected, which would bump up taxes by 60% overnight. Legally, they have to be paid, and they must be satisfied. And Deloitte UK has been given the exclusive contract of gathering the data, which the 5G companies will get. So, they got to cross acceptable boundaries, they say, if they are to win the data war and ultimately drive society forward. The cost of not doing so will wipe trillions off the global economy, and a global recession, the propensity of which has never been witnessed before. So ultimately, the better behaved and accepting people are during the new normal, the better it will be for them. Any further rebellion will see social media companies sued, as well as those behind the offending accounts. And Gibson of 5G politely reminded the BBC had the responsibility, as one of the nation's most trusted broadcasters, to be mindful in the way that 5G is portrayed. So they must do this sensibly and sensitively, as there is a lot at stake in this regard. Please do share. It will be taken down, but if you all download this video, then perhaps we can change this world. Caroline Stevens, Seeking the Truth, at Kaz Ann Stevens, Twitter account, and website carolinestevens.net. Thank you for listening. Please take care. Goodbye for now.